Hello, everyone. And today I'm talking about. I'm not really in any movie review. For the record, I'm going to see the Ouija movie sequel tomorrow. For the record, and I will have a review for that either tomorrow or Sunday, regardless, because Halloween is on Monday, and that's a time where it's all about the youth, the new younger generation, the millennials of today. Getting dressed up and getting free candy from people. Regardless, it's the time of that. About young little youth and dressing up and getting candy. And with relevance to that, I'm going to talk about my experience in college because it's good counterbalance within it. And it's now hitting times of getting the idea of the exams and finals in college and university and in grade 12, which I experienced. And quite ironically, my shirt has a good relevance to this because it's not my school course, because it's freaking Hogwarts. Because this is, it says Hogwarts right here. Here's Gryffindor, Slytherin, Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff. My house is Ravenclaw, by the way. Our house the eagle represents. We're very happy to be that. But regardless, I'm going to tell you my experience of college and what I've learned through that, and what I've gained from a new perspective. Now, I'm not going to give you too much detail, and some things are meant to be private for the sake of being private. I just don't want to give up too much information. So and I won't get into huge detail. This won't be a 20-minute video, but regardless, I'm going to talk about it. So I went to a college here in Canada, British Columbia, called VCC, Vancouver Community College. And essentially I went there, and I wasn't really among the smartest people, because growing up I went to a private school. I went to people with disabilities, with autism, or with severe some very minute autism, I would say, or difficulties learning that. I have a difficulty learning. I don't have autism and that type of scale, but regardless, my class was my class in college was the people who were kind of like that. So they weren't really so what we're getting wasn't really the most advanced thing. Now you're wondering at this point, well, Jack, what did you take? I took the retail and hospitality course. No, I didn't take both, but it was choose one or the other, and I chose retail. And retail, I searched it up, and the definition is, according to Google, that is the sale of goods to the public in relatively small quantities for use or consumption, rather than for resale. So that's the definition of it, according to Google. Excuse me. So I took retail, and I was in college for about 1 year. I did very, very good. I was very much at the top of my class. I got extremely great marks. I was very impressed with myself. I actually got a scholarship from that. That was something that I was personally very, very proud of. I'm personally very, very, very proud of that. Through that, what did I learn? I have met some friends along the way, which is weird for me, because two things happened to me when I went to college. Number one, I felt like I was among adults. Granted, we were in our late 20s, not late 20s, late teens, early 20s, ages 18 and 23, 24, 25. I think the oldest person in my class was 27, and I'm like, holy shit, he looks like he's 22, my age right now, at least. I'm like, wow, holy crap. I think I was the third youngest in my class, at least, but that doesn't matter. And of all the classmates I was with, I would say about 3 or 4 I wouldn't say I grew close to, but they were I only considered 3 to 4 people the closest of my friends. They were legitimately just some really cool, nice people. But some controversy occurred in my class, but some stuff that, like I said in the beginning, That's not relevant at all. So yeah, I graduated. I got a scholarship. I was very, very praised by my teachers. I was really, really top of my class. Another thing that happened to me in my college is that like I said before, I felt like I was among adults. So I wouldn't say I became like a stick in the mud type of person. I became very disciplined. That's the thing about me when I went into college. I just got extremely disciplined. I'm like, everyone's just like, yeah, cool, we're among friends like that. And I of course had that mentality too. But I was much more like, yeah, but guys, we're learning something that could not only shape our lives, but how we determine our path in our life. Like, this is what we want to do, then this is what we're going to do to understand it and understand the rights and wrongs and the fundamentals of it, and not just the rules, but how to get a bit of a mindset to it. So I took that, for me at least, very much to heart. So I'm like, okay, this is some extremely valid material, and I'm taking it greatly, where I was kind of like, yeah, we're having fun. And I wouldn't say I spoke out of turn, but I was always like, my teachers and always bring up respect and how great it is. And I'm like, no guys, you're gonna earn it. Either you like it or not, you're gonna earn it. You're gonna earn it. You're gonna earn it. It's not like I said, it's not like Halloween. It's not like the way I worded it to them was like this. I said to them, it's not like candy you give away on Halloween. It's not like that at all. It's something you have to impress me and or to prove to me why you're worthy of my respect and trust and judgment. To say why I would respect you. Like, I respect my closest friends and family and co-workers at my work. Like that. So yeah, I became very, very, I wouldn't say dogmatic, but I was very disciplined and very, very loyal to my work and to my studies. Even though I did socialize, and I was quite friendly and polite for the most part. You won't ever hear about that. Whatever. And that's not the point. But another thing that happened was, as tough as I was, like that, I got a bit of anxiety. That's because when I took it to heart, whenever I would fail, or at least I got into the mindset like, oh no, I failed, and I just got really shocked and scared. And I didn't have much of a history of anxiety before. But at that point, I didn't say it skyrocketed, but it was always like that shadow that lingers behind me. It's like I feared failing in a weird way. Which no one should be ashamed of failure. It's just a natural part of things. But because failure is something, it's a number of things I think that we are able to control. It's about consistency when it comes to that. But again, that's totally unrelated. So yeah. But after that, I graduated, and during then, I had some I wouldn't say I had some courses, but like when I was taking a course like September to June, I think it was actually September to May. June was actually off, amazingly, but during then, I think it was October, it was like November. November to early December, I worked at a grocery store. Well, my teachers put a word for me at a grocery store, and I'm like, okay. I learned how to set up my resume and send it out like that. That was wonderful. That's a great experience to learn. And I worked at a particular grocery store from mid-November to early December, and then that retail store, like the grocery store that I worked at there, loved me so much that they wanted to come me back. And that was like, oh damn, blood. Oh well, whatever. So they wanted me back for another term. I think that was in March or April. I think that was in February before spring break. And spring break is always optional, really. Once you're high school, is like, if you want to take spring break in college, that's on your terms. You're gonna miss your studies at least. And I did, and I had to catch up. Of course, as anyone would have to. Same thing if you go in university, is like if you want to take a vacation, go ahead and find and do that. But your loss. This is on you. That the sense of maturity and growth to it. And that's very important. And like on my third term, which was in March, I think that was in my last term in the grocery store. Point in the grocery store was in May. And that was a different one. So yeah, that was a different one. So I kind of that kind of died out, and I graduated, got a degree. I didn't really get it's not a degree. It's a scholarship. That's probably my personally the most proudest point I've ever been in my life. I was so proud of myself at that. I was very, very happy about that. Yeah, and then that June, which is a very, very June. That's the start of the summer season. Well, really, jobs. When jobs open the door, and it's like, okay, because of summer part-time jobs like that during the summer season, like being a camp counselor or stuff like that. So I sent out my resumes. They failed. All the grocery stores that were close to my house, they said no. We're not. They said we already have so much, or like the typical things like it's not you, it's me. It's some stuff like that. I was terribly unsuccessful. That was something that I learned right out of college. Is like, and that's the thing about college, is that the things you take aren't always the things you always fall through to do. Just because you want to be an architect or a chef or whatever, that's a very common job, and that is like you can find that anywhere in any type of place. So yeah, but regardless, there's like, since I learned retail, and that was a very that's a very fairly popular job. Like you'll find at grocery stores and malls and type of places like that. But yeah, it didn't succeed. And anyways, I ended up working for a mattress place, and now I'm working in a factory of food, of cheese to be particular. But regardless, what I learned from that, from not just taking a course in college, but from graduating and saying, and what happened afterwards is that it shows, just because you set an ambitious path doesn't mean that you're going to always follow through with it. And that's probably something you can not just say about that, but that's something you can say about life in general. It's like, as much as you may want to plan things won't always turn out in your favor. Just because you send in a resume in for a job doesn't mean you get that job. Other people are doing that as well, and that's the reality of it. That's your choice to do so, and that's your own will and action. But there's also their choice to say, you know what, this person's worth it, this one isn't, because of what our resume says, of course. And that really does, that's a real big thing about life. Either you believe in God or whatever, is like, I don't know how that came to be, really. Whatever. It shows that there is, no matter what, fate and destiny. For me, I kind of determined that destiny is what you make of it. Like, this is my destiny. I'm going to go down this road. I want to be, like I said before, I wanted to be in the realm of retail. But that wasn't the outcome. And that's not something I could control. And I realized through that my plans while I do set them in motion, don't always follow through. And that's something I kind of learned. Don't always bite more than you can chew. Just because you set an ambitious path or anything like that doesn't mean it's engraved in stone. Or text or whatever you want to say. What I'm trying to say is that overall what I've learned from college is that there's things you can and cannot control. And for the things you can control, make the best and make the most damn sure that you want to do what you want to do is that. And all I ask for anyone out there, not just aside from honesty and being true to yourself, but that is knowing your limits and knowing what you can and cannot do. And for what you can't do, say, you know what, alright, fine, I'm better than that, I can grow from that, just have the better attitude from that, and letting the negative from those rejections of not getting an interview or not getting a job or anything like that. And all the times you've been told, no, we're not hiring, or no, we don't want to hire you. Just learn from it. That's just the most important thing I've learned from my time in college, is that you can't always control what you want to do. There's some things that will turn in your favor, and there's some things that won't. And that is the big reality. Not just of college, but that's just the reality of life. There's some things you can and you can't control. Like you can, let's say for example, let's say you want to go to Hawaii. Excuse me, I almost burped. Like that's a very popular tourist destination for anywhere in America or the world. Like one of the most top 10 at least. Extremely popular place. I've been there a couple of times in my life regardless. What matters is that you can set out to do that. But just because you have plans to go there doesn't mean those plans will go in your favor. Like you go to Hawaii, you expect it to be wonderful, like very laid back, cool, beautiful weather, all that. But it's like, no, the weather will always turn gray, or you want to go on this trip, well, unfortunately this thing was canceled due to bad weather or whatever. Or you want to go to this store at this point in time, well, they close. That's the reality of it. And that is a big fundamental part of life that I've learned from college. So yes, as much as you want to set out things for yourself, you cannot control everything. And for things you can't, just come to grips about it. You can either come to grips about it, or let it consume you, and let that negative energy consume you. And you shouldn't focus on the negativity that much. Yes, you should look at it, the negativity in the face, but say, you know what, I'm better than that, and I'm stronger than that, and I'm going to grow from this, because I'm still so young. And I've got so much ahead of me, and you know what, I'm very ambitious. While I personally may not be the most ambitious person, I'm the type of person to acknowledge what is going on and always plan 5 steps ahead, just in case if there's that one step ahead of me that I can't overcome. If I can't overcome something, then I'm like, all right, and then I'll see you again, maybe or maybe not, and then I'll turn around and take on another path. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is, yeah, look, like I said before, there's things you can and cannot control, and that is life in a damn nutshell. My final thing I want to say this to you is this. If you want to plan something out in your life, wonderful, great, fine, follow through with it. But don't always expect everything to come out your way, because life is an asshole, and it will throw you a curveball. And unfortunately, sometimes it will knock you on your ass. Either it's through rejection, death of a family member, death of someone close, or at least someone is there to stop your main ambition for life. That's the thing about it. That's the very fundamental thing about it. As much as you want to plan things, it won't always fall through. And that's something we all got to come to grips about it. Either we share different views of the world either we share different philosophies, or religion, or political views, or whatever. I think there's one thing that every human should understand, is that as much as we want to live our life in this world, we shouldn't expect it to be so easy. Because it will get hard. And at 22 years in my life now, I can tell you, it's been hard. It's been difficult. But after rain, there's always a sunshine. Yeah. I'm just reflecting about people who come and go in my life now. But yeah, as hard as it will get, I promise you, with words of wisdom and knowledge, I will say that this It gets easier, but it's never as easy as it seems. Till then, I'll see you maybe in a better place or not. Till then, live well.